Fever made some unsurprising roster cuts.
This is the first cut.
Plenty of players have been waiting.
It's happening right now. The Indiana Fever just shook up their roster in a way nobody saw coming.
How tough it was going to be to make the roster. How a group of players were fighting for essentially one spot.
Big names have been cut.
The Indiana Fever having to make some cuts. Players that many expected to be possibly gone.
Big names have been cut.
The Indiana Fever made with Caitlin Clark's presence on the court is undeniable.
And make no mistake about it, Caitlin Clark is the reason behind these massive moves.
Caitlin Clark is just so fun to watch. The difference that she brings to the game. This is an entertainer. She knows how to rev up the crowd. She puts on a show. And like Rebecca Lobo said, the Indiana Fever are just fun to watch.
As the franchise shifts into full gear to build around their once in a generation superstar players who many thought were safe are suddenly out. The message is clear. If you don't fit into the fast, dynamic system that complements Caitlin Clark's game, you're gone.
It's a rough life in the WNBA where you get drafted, you have that moment, and then it's gone.
This is more than just a roster shuffle. It's the beginning of a new era in Indiana. And the Fever are sending shockwaves through the WNBA to make it happen.
Cece, one word to describe today.
One word.
If you're a Caitlin Clark fan and want to support her, type 100% in the comments.
But the timing of the cuts is interesting in the senses where they dropped these two players after the first two exhibition games.
Let's talk about the massive shakeup that just hit the Indiana Fever. This is not some routine roster adjustment that teams make mid-season. This is a statement. The Fever have made it crystal clear that they are ready to reshape the foundation of their team, and it all circles back to one person, Caitlin Clark, clip 7. Her impact is so undeniable that the franchise is now moving aggressively to build a squad that fully complements her style, maximizes her strengths, and sets the stage for long-term success. In the midst of this transformation, the front office made some tough calls, cutting key players who many fans thought were safe.
A championship is the clear stated goal.
That includes Aaliyah Moore, whose athleticism and versatility showed promise.
I would say, just pushing the pace and just keep going, not settling for who we were playing with. We're just getting ready to play, those bigger opponents and to win a championship. So we just had our mind focused on what we wanted to do and just keep the pace and not worry about the score.
But whose role became redundant as the Fever zeroed in on maximizing floor spacing and speed. Alongside her, Tammy Fagbell was also waived. Bentley, despite bringing solid international experience and post presence, didn't fit into the new fast-paced system. Indiana is designing around Clark's dynamic playmaking, and it didn't stop there. Maya Caldwell and Christy Wallace, both of whom provided depth on the wing and had moments of contribution, last season also found themselves released as part of this overhaul
camp. It was assumed 5 players were competing for one spot.
These weren't easy decisions. These are players who have battled, hustled, and represented the franchise with professionalism, but the Fever's leadership knows one thing. Mediocrity isn't an option anymore. They're crafting a team that is laser-focused on maximizing Caitlin Clark's talents.
Caitlin Clark is just different from everyone else.
It's crazy how one player can implement a change so massive. That is Caitlin Clark.
Whenever Caitlin Clark takes the floor, that maybe is different not only from any player in the WNBA, but from any player in basketball. The Indiana Fever are where they are because of Caitlin Clark. The WNBA is where it is because of Caitlin Clark. The Iowa situation is what it is because of Caitlin Clark.
That means surrounding her with shooters, defenders, and high IQ players who can amplify her court vision and fast break offense. Every cut is calculated, every decision is designed to streamline the roster so that Clark can operate at her absolute best. And make no mistake, these moves send a loud signal to the rest of the WNBA.
Everybody get an opportunity, and the cold reality of the WNBA is there just aren't that many teams, and there aren't that many roster spots, which doesn't lead to said opportunity for too many.
Indiana is no longer a rebuilding team patiently waiting for the future. The future is here. And her name is Caitlin Clark. The Fever are clearing the path so she can run the show without hesitation, and every player who remains will be someone who fits her tempo, her style, and her basketball mind.
They're going to do what they think gives them the best chance to win and gives them the best roster going into the regular season, and everyone who's on the bench has to be able to be relied upon for minutes if needed.
When we talk about why these cuts happen, we need to say it plainly. Caitlin Clark has completely transformed how the Indiana Fever operate, and every decision now runs through the lens of maximizing her unique skill set. From the moment she stepped on the court, it became obvious that Clark isn't just another talented rookie, she's a generational player who dictates pace commands, defensive attention, and opens up the floor in ways that very few athletes can. The front office recognized quickly that to fully unlock her potential, they would have to reshape the roster to fit her style of play, not the other way around. Clark's game is built on speed floor spacing and precision passing. She thrives when surrounded by players who can keep up with her fast-paced offensive tempo, and who can stretch the defense to give her clean looks from deep or clear lanes to attack. This is where players like Jillian Allen and Bree Hall fell out of favor.
Indiana Fever made their first roster cuts of training camp Monday. Rookie Bree Hall, Jillian Elaine were waived by the team as it narrows down its opening day roster. Jillian Elaine, she's out.
While both had strengths, neither consistently displayed the versatility or chemistry needed to flourish alongside Clark. Bree Hall's defensive abilities were acknowledged.
Bree Hall would have had to really stand out in order to make the team. I just thought she had a chance if she could show she was a great defensive player just because they didn't have that specific player.
But in the Fever's new system, defense alone wasn't enough. She needed to show she could seamlessly integrate into an offense that's built to run through Clark's hands, and she struggled to keep pace with that expectation. Meanwhile, Michaela Timpson serves as a textbook example of the kind of player the Fever now covet.
It's Michaela Timpson. My goodness, she looks like she has something, folks. She does. And I'm excited that she's part of the team.
Timpson didn't just put up respectable stats during camp and exhibitions. She actively demonstrated she could complement Clark's game. Her ability to cut at the right times, hit open shots, and rotate quickly on defense made her invaluable. She fit naturally into the system. Indiana envisions a system where quick decision M-off, ball movement, and high basketball IQ amplify Caitlin Clark's playmaking brilliance. The Fever saw that chemistry unfold in real time during scrimmages and made the call. They want more players like Timpson who can elevate Clark.
Michaela Timpson was selected number 19 over.
Not players who slow the game down. This isn't just about individual performance either, it's about team construction at the highest level. The Fever understand they have a rare opportunity on their hands with Clark's ability to draw double. Teams make pinpoint passes and score from virtually anywhere on the court. They can design an offense that overwhelms opponents, but to make that vision a reality, they need shooters who can space the floor bigs, who can run in transition, and defenders who can switch quickly. Every roster spot is now being evaluated through that lens. The front office isn't hesitating. They're cutting loose anyone who doesn't fit the blueprint because wasting a year of Clark's rookie contract window simply isn't an option. Make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is the engine driving this entire rebuild clip.
Caitlin Clark breaking the record at $440 per average ticket to get into this game. That record was rebroken and increased to $670 per ticket. Couldn't help myself. Haters, read it and weep.
Her skill set is forcing Indiana to think bigger, move faster, and make bolder decisions. The release of Allen and Hall is just the beginning. The Fever are going Allen on building a championship-caliber team around their superstar, and that means assembling a roster that mirrors the speed, versatility, and relentless offensive pressure that Clark brings to every possession. These roster cuts aren't just business decisions, they're a loud and clear signal that Indiana's ready to reshape the franchise around Caitlin. Now that the Indiana Fever have made these bold roster cuts and clearly shown they're all in on building around Caitlin Clark.
The team looked great. Caitlin Clark looked like she's ready to go.
When Caitlin Clark arrives, she's going to be responsible for moving the ball more. She's going to be responsible for setting picks, dropping the ball off, making decisions. It's not just going to be dumping the ball down and you make a decision and we'll live with whatever you do. So
honestly, I was really excited to just get out there and play, and especially getting to do it for the first time this season in front of these fans was really cool for myself. And just seeing the amount of people and young girls and young boys that stand there and scream for me to sign their stuff, I don't take that for granted. Like, that's so cool. Like, I would be lying to you if I thought that was like just like normal and everybody gets to do that. Like, they don't. So I'm glad I can be a role model for them, and they have a great impact on me too.
The natural question becomes what happens next. The Fever's front office isn't just making small tweaks, they're orchestrating a complete transformation of the team's identity. This is a franchise that has been waiting for a breakthrough star to rally around, and with Clark in place, they're not going to waste the opportunity. Every move from here on out is calculated with the long-term vision of turning Indiana into a WNBA powerhouse, and that means the shakeup we're seeing right now is just the beginning.
The ball movement was great to see. Who didn't want to see that the ball snapping around and the unselfish play? I think it bodes very, very well for the ceiling of this team.
She broke her own damn record, hitting 36-foot-long three-pointers. She looked it sensational. This team looked it great, and I'm telling you right now, they just put the entire WNBA on notice.
She put on a show. The deep logo three, that further than the logo, really, that no one else is doing. The delicious dimes whenever Caitlin Clark takes the floor, that maybe is different not only from any player in the WNBA, but from any player in basketball. Salary cap is structured. The Fever are most likely making 2 more cuts. Most likely, which I would say that the players that are in the most danger are Ejim, who was the other draft pick, and the latest draft pick, and also Jaylen Brown.
So this is what an actual crowd looks like. Chloe Peterson put this up. That is a sold-out arena. 14,998 people. That's all it could hold. They all showed up in Caitlin Clark's college arena. Absolutely full capacity, folks. Full capacity on this thing.
I didn't plan to shoot that logo 3. I know coming into the game, everybody wanted me to shoot one from there. But Steph was like, was supposed to come out at the end of the third, so she was like, give a foul, give a foul, give a foul. And then it was 30 seconds on the clock, which like between 30 to 33, that's like your 2-for-1 range where you have to get one up. So I saw 30 as we're inbounding the ball, which probably is inbounding the ball at 30. Probably a little low, but I was like, why not?
This is your first time experiencing the Caitlin madness. What do you make of this entire day that you were able to experience?
It's amazing, just to see that how many people just love her in this city. She made her mark here, and it's just incredible to see all the fans and how much she's just put into work, and then the impact she's had on this city.
Caitlin Clark play. And then we got one of the highlights of her career, really. We know she broke the record at Iowa, and then I'm going to pull up from all the way here. The ball's way in the air, and it goes down.
There's Caitlin again, signing autographs.
This is Caitlin Clark doing what Caitlin Clark does, signing autographs.